Trump draft executive order would make sweeping changes to the U.S. State Department. The Trump administration could soon roll out sweeping changes to the U.S. State Department, according to a draft executive order obtained by CNBC that lays out what it calls a disciplined reorganization of the nation's diplomatic service. The 16-page draft order, which is not dated but appears to be prepared for President Donald Trump's signature, would dramatically upend the department if it is enacted shuttering American embassies across Southern Africa and eliminating bureaus that work on issues like democracy and human rights, as well as international organizations like the United Nations. The order also details an overhaul to the process for selecting and training U.S. diplomats. According to the order, the changes are intended to streamline mission delivery, project American strength abroad, cut waste, fraud, abuse, and align the department with an American-first strategic doctrine reflecting the priorities of the executive branch. The draft executive order proposes elimination of all non-essential embassies and consulates in sub-Saharan Africa and the consolidation of regional bureaus around the world. Current regional bureaus, for the order, will be consolidated under for regional core, Eurasia, including Europe, Russia, and Central Asia, Mideast, including Arab nations, Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, Latin America, including Central America, South America, and the Caribbean, and Indo-Pacific, including East and Southeast Asia, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, and the Maldives. America's diplomatic presence in Canada would be drastically cut under the order. Going forward, State Department operations in Canada would fall under a significantly reduced team delegated as the North American Affairs Office, within Secretary of State Marco Rubio's office. The White House did not immediately respond to CNBC's request for comment on the draft order. The New York Times first reported on the document. Rubio, in response to the article, wrote on X, "This is fake news." The draft order also calls for the termination of offices and positions within the department focused on climate, women's issues, democracy, human rights, migration, and criminal justice. In addition to the consolidation of embassies and consulates, the order would make fundamental changes to the hiring practices at the department. The long-standing Foreign Service officer test will be scrapped in favor of an evaluation based in part on whether candidates show alignment with the president's foreign policy vision. The draft order says that the full structural reorganization and transition should be completed by October 1st. It also says that any current Foreign Services officers or civil service personnel who do not want to take part in the new regional organization structure or serve the interests of the administration may elect to voluntarily separate from the department through a one-time buyout and transition program until September 30th. Florida halts migrant arrests after judge rebukes state over immigration law enforcement. Florida Attorney General James Upmere has instructed state law enforcement to halt the arrest of undocumented migrants under a new immigration law after a federal judge doubled down on a restraining order against the state. The directive comes after U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams said during a Friday hearing she was astounded by the state's decision to continue making arrests after she had issued a previous order directing officials to stop earlier this month. The Florida Attorney General's office did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment. It is a misdemeanor for illegal immigrants to enter Florida under state law. In a letter to state officials, Upmere directed state law enforcement to comply with the judge's order despite not agreeing with the decision. The order comes after attorneys suing the state revealed authorities have made 15 arrests in the last 2 weeks, including a U.S. citizen born in Georgia. Last week, 20-year-old Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez was pulled over by Florida Highway Patrol near the Florida-Georgia border and subsequently taken into custody by immigration officials. It is unclear whether Gomez, who was detained under the new law signed by Governor Ron DeSantis in February, provided identification upon being arrested. Gomez was charged with illegal entry into Florida and held at the Leon County Jail, where U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement requested he remain in custody for up to 48 hours. The next day, Gomez was released after his mother provided his birth certificate, Social Security card, and state identification card in court. ICE and the Florida Immigrant Coalition did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's request for comment. As the Trump administration moves toward redefining American diplomacy and states like Florida grapple with controversial immigration enforcement, these developments signal a broader shift in how the U.S. approaches foreign policy and domestic immigration. Whether these proposed reforms become reality or face legal and political hurdles remains to be seen. One thing is clear. The conversation about America's role at home and abroad is far from over. That is all today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Trump's draft executive order could make a sweeping changes to the U.S. State Department. The Trump administration is reportedly preparing to introduce a sweeping reorganization of the U.S. State Department based on a 60-page draft executive order obtained by CNBC. The proposal outlines a dramatic restricting of American diplomatic operations aiming to align foreign policy with the America First strategy doctrine. If enacted, the plan would shutter numerous embassies and consulates, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa, and dissolve office focus on issues such as climate change, democracy, human rights, and women's issues. The draft order proposes consolidating the current regional bureaus into 4 major regional corps: Eurasia, the Middle East, Latin America, and the Indo-Pacific. Notably, the diplomatic presence in Canada would be drastically reduced and absorbed under a new North American Affairs Office within a Secretary of State Marco Rubio office. In addition to cutting overseas missions, the plan would overhaul the selection and training process for U.S. diplomats. The traditional Foreign Service officer test would be scrapped and replaced with an evaluation system that favors candidates who align with the president's foreign policy vision. A buyout and transition program is proposed for exciting staff who do not wish to remain under the new structure, with a full transition deadline set for October 1st. While the White House has not commented on the draft, Rubio discussed the report on social media as a fake news. The New York Times initially reported on the extensive of the document. Separately, in Florida, a federal judge's rebuke has led the state to halt arrests under a controversial immigration law. Florida Attorney General James Othniel instructed law enforcement to stop detaining undocumented migrants after the U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams emphasized a prior restraining order against the law. Despite the order, 15 arrests occurred in recent weeks, including that of Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a U.S. citizen mistakenly detained near the Georgia border. He was held for alleged illegal entry into Florida, but released after his mother provided documentation proving his citizenship. The incident highlights the low controversial enforcement and the potential for civil rights violations, while the Florida Attorney General Office disagrees with the ruling. It has instructed agencies to comply with the judge's directive pending further legal developments.